Federal officials confirmed in December that several high-profile government agencies were hacked by a foreign state, with the suspect most likely being Russia. While this is one of the most advanced and largest hacks of the federal government, cyber attacks against governments and businesses of all sizes occur every day. I spoke to Art House, who has served as the Chief Cybersecurity Risk Officer for the state of Connecticut and was a White House Fellow on the National Security Council. While he believes Connecticut is better positioned to protect itself compared to many other states, there are still concerns and major threats that we face. What do you think is the general condition of the state of Connecticut's cybersecurity at the moment?
I got to divide that into two parts, Adam. One is critical infrastructure, meaning our utilities. And Connecticut it's a national and international leader in this field. We set up a system whereby there are annual reviews between state officials and our electricity, gas, and water utilities. We do an assessment of the adequacy of their cyber defense capabilities and issue a report every year. We have put together a strategy and an action plan for other things like business, education, state government, municipal government. It's one of those many things that I think will receive attention once the coronavirus lets up. I know Governor Lamont is very interested in this field, and he wants to attack it on a regional basis.
Do you think the state of Connecticut should be worrying about foreign adversaries trying to hack the state? I mean, is this more just of a national federal government problem, or do you think individual states could be targeted?
The latter. States are targeted all the time. We have Connecticut municipalities which are penetrated and locked up for ransomware. Now, the state government and some of our municipalities are not as well protected, and the reward for penetrating them is not as great, but it's easy. Once when we announced the results of that annual cybersecurity review of Connecticut's utilities that I described earlier, there was a high-ranking official from Eversource there. And one of the reporters asked, could you say something about how often you have probes against your systems? He said, sometimes we have hundreds of thousands every day, sometimes up to 1 million every day. Now, those are robo machines, and they keep changing and coming in, but every single day, I would dare to say just every single hour, Connecticut's utilities are defending themselves against efforts to penetrate their system. So the answer to your question is a resounding yes. We have to worry about it in Connecticut.
The hacking of the federal government, are you more concerned now? Is it the same? I mean, how is that changing maybe the way you're thinking about all this?
Well, let me put it this way. I worked in the U.S. intelligence community, and I continue to hold a security clearance, and I try to stay up to speed on this. So the fact that a major nation state can penetrate is not shocking. I think a couple of things here. One was the extent of the penetration. They got into about 18,000 government agencies and private businesses. Secondly, they've been in there for 9 months. This was not discovered by the United States government. This was discovered by the private sector. And we have to have an unprecedented level of cooperation between private companies in the field of cybersecurity and the US government. Now, more than that, they planted what's called back doors into some government agencies. So they can enter and leave as they like. And they can change data, they can carry out data and do destructive acts. So in conversations I've had with people who are dealing with our intelligence community, the military, and Congress right now, we really don't know the full extent of what is happening. It's not over. They're still there. And it'll be weeks or months before we understand the full extent of this penetration.
What is your biggest concern for a plausible, a realistic threat the state of Connecticut could have? Like, what are some of the worst case scenarios?
Over half of all the businesses in Connecticut, by number, not by size, have never done a risk assessment of any kind. Never mind cyber. So that your law firm, your store, your machine shop, etc., is subject to penetration and to a ransom demand. So we have a huge dichotomy between those who know and live literally every hour that a cyber attack is possible and those who say it'll never happen to me. We have ransom attack threats against our municipalities. The worst that could happen is I guess a slightly reduced version of what happens nationally. People can get in, they can either close you down, steal your secrets, or just cause havoc.
What are the biggest things that you think that we need to be doing to make us safer moving forward, especially now that these threats are becoming more top of mind, more real to us?
The business community has a lot to learn, a lot to gain from cybersecurity. And a lot of organized business, for example, the CBIA, the Connecticut Business and Industry Association, the Metro Hartford Alliance, organizations like cybersecurity efforts, and they like reinforcing the reputation of Connecticut as a place that takes cybersecurity very, very seriously, and is good to do business. Not just the big ones, but the suppliers, everyone. And when your culture, because cybersecurity defense is a culture, when your culture is up to speed and you're all working with each other, you tend to create a safer place. I think there is room to say that Connecticut is one of the advanced states which takes cybersecurity very, very seriously. And it's a good reason to come here and do business. It would give Connecticut a greater competitive edge. That's one. Another thing we could do is we could work more extensively with the municipalities. Now, a smaller town or city, 10 years ago, they might not have had an IT officer. Most of them do not have a cybersecurity officer because they're small. So we need to do this on a regional basis. And I think if we can make cybersecurity defense capabilities available on a shared regional basis with our municipalities, that would also go a long way.
Reporting for CT News Junkie, I'm Adam Chiara.